106,
Okay.
April 24th, 2025. All right, welcome, Mario, to the podcast. As a special guest, senior at Central Catholic High School, currently committed at Grand Canyon University for bowling. Just want to welcome you to the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. I wanted to ask a question before we get into everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I know you're a senior too here at Central Catholic.
Yeah.
I know how my journey went with just like starting out in the pandemic with everything being online. Kind of like, how did the pandemic really affect you?
Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, affected like everything about me, pretty much. Like when I was little, I used to be like very energetic, a lot more energetic and like outgoing. Like literally anything you name, I'm like the complete opposite now. Kind of like I remember during the pandemic, like right before, like maybe like as it started, I used to always like play with my friends, just like me being me. And then toward the end, like it's gonna sound kind of dumb, but like my mic on my Xbox broke, so like I just got used to like not talking. So
everybody kind of felt more like reserved in themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So I didn't really like talk to my friends. Like even though I was there with them, I wasn't talking with them anymore.
Which even though that you're with people, like you kind of felt like you were in your own world because like it's hard to keep like a friendship without always talking to them.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not seeing each other that often, because we were all like stuck inside during quarantine.
Yeah, honestly, like I didn't realize it at the time, but like kind of how you said, like it's hard being friends with people when you don't talk to them. Because I remember like for like maybe a good while toward the end of the pandemic, when I was a lot more like, closed shell before I came to Central, it was like tough talking to other people. Because I remember when they took away the mask mandates, I used to always like still keep the mask on because I was just comfortable being like secluded, like alone. So it took me a little while to like get back into like meeting people and stuff. And that's when I came to Central, it just kind of started rolling again.
Yeah. So how was like that friends process? Really, I know for me, I only started out like talking to one person, like going to all the summer camps that they had and talking to like maybe one or two people, and then just kind of still feeling like, oh, like I don't really have a place here yet. And then I know the process for me making friends was pretty difficult. Like, what was that process for you like?
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty tough. Like, it took me a good like maybe 2 weeks to like actually make friends. Cause like even though I talked to people like during summer school in the beginning, like I made like okay friends with them, but we were more like acquaintances, like like we'll say hi and stuff, but we weren't like hanging out or anything. It took me about a good 2 weeks to like after talking to people and like forcing myself out there to actually like make friends. And I feel like everyone there, they were already like everyone here at Central was already like had an idea of like who each other were because of either sports, but mostly like social media. Like social media really played I feel like a big part. Like everyone, because when I don't know if it's just me that realized, but when I came to Central like during the summer, I feel like everybody knew each other already.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I like what you said about social media really affecting a lot of things, because it really did. Not even just how people talked, but just like how people were able to come together because of just like one simple thing that they all did, or something random, like something funny or something like that.
Like trends, kind of like.
Yeah, all the trends that there was and all the slang that people used. It was really weird.
The slang back then was crazy, like, and like the influence it had on like everyone, especially as like freshmen, was just like crazy. Like it could be literally just one person that missed saying something. Now everybody's saying that word.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my goodness. Yeah. It
like,
spread like wildfire.
Like especially now, like even now as seniors, like you see it everywhere. It's just the brain rot, like slang. It's crazy, bro.
The brain rot words that everybody uses. that sometimes don't even mean anything, but since
like,
you know what it is, it's like it's funny. And
yeah, it's,
in a weird way, it kind of brought a lot of people kind of closer together because of how like dumb it was. But everybody was like, well, we all could bond over knowing what it was.
Yeah, because I feel like in a way that's kind of how I grew closer with my friends, like making fun of it. Like we would, like when we would say the words, we weren't saying it to be like funny or like we thought it was funny. We were saying it because like, dude, that is like so dumb. Like currently like with Chuz.
Yeah. All the things. Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense, but it's just like it's funny.
Yeah, I know a lot of slang that I used when I was, like a sophomore and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was...
really brought it brought me closer to other people, because like we all acknowledged like how stupid it was and how bad it was.
Yeah.
But it was like it didn't really matter, because I think everybody's just like trying to get everything they want to say out of them after being locked away for literally a whole year.
I think that's definitely like played a big part of this thing. That's because like I said earlier, like it doesn't even make sense. They're just like weird, especially like even the videos now that people are making for like brain rot.
Yeah, just makes no sense.
It's just.
Oh, and forget about trying to talk to your parents and accidentally slipping
Dude,
up
that's
and saying
I know
something brain rotted is. I know, like I've said it a couple times in front of my dad, and he'll just be like, "What does that even mean?" Like,
I know, or like sometimes my mom would be asking me something, or like texting me, right, and kind of relating to the slang, how people like paraphrase words like just.
Yeah.
They put like JS.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, I think one time I was texting my mom and I said that, and she was like, "What does that mean?" She was like, "Did you just call me a slur or something?" I was like, "No, that's not what that was going on."
Yeah.
And then it's just like, that's crazy. Like, you get so used to talking this way with your friends, and like you go home, you're like, I gotta be this way with my parents.
Yeah, you almost switch completely how you talk because of just like the difference between talking to people that are your age and like talking to like guardians or something like that.
Especially like, 'cause I feel like when we're with our friends, we get a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, we can't say anything here. This is a family-friendly podcast. But there's definitely things that people say with their friends. Like, for a fact they wouldn't say that near their parents.
You would never say that to anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got it.
Oh my god.
All right, but like for real though, it's actually crazy how much like social media has like played an impact on like our slang, like how we're saying about like how these kids talk nowadays. Like social media is actually crazy. Like before we would always like talk about it, or like maybe not even talk about it, but just kind of like figure it out. Like, hey, I kind of like this. Now it's always like we just send each other a reel or like a TikTok, and we're like, yeah, let's do this. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean, because I know in middle school a lot of the times when you'd find out people's interests, it was always through like something like your parents would put you in, like soccer or something like that,
or football, basketball,
yeah, most definitely. Like you just like found out because by coincidence. It really people didn't talk about what they were interested in. Unless you had like that one kid that was like always like talking,
or like always that one rich kid, like
that like always flaunted like what they were interested in or something like that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Social media has just taken over so many lives, and not even in necessarily a bad way. It's just like it's helped a lot of people like get to know each other. Yeah. Connect with each other. It's like, I know. I never listened to music, like, ever before 8th grade or something like that. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't even know what music to listen to. And then I started to, like, I one time saw one person's phone and, like, what song they were listening to. And then I started listening to that, and then we wrote a bond over that. It's just like, and then once you figure out your own music taste and you talk to other people, like, music and just like different things you do, like playing video games, like they're just like easy topics to be able to bond over, especially if like if you're in middle school or like start of high school, where everybody's just trying to figure out who they really are or what they're interested in. And it just played a really big role in helping me make all the friends I have.
Yeah, because, like, kind of like we were talking about, like, the game Fortnite. Like, I know we all know Fortnite. I'm pretty sure nowadays, kind of like, it's always like those memes making fun of it. Yeah. Or like the people that play it now. But back then, in middle school, that was like the best.
Was the thing,
if you play Fortnite, you're like the favorite of everyone.
Yeah, everybody would be able to come together and talk about that. Like, that was the one thing that, like, no one really hated. I mean, there was always those people, but
that, like, always went for PUBG over Fortnite.
But really, for, like, I think for at least our generation, everybody played Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about this generation after us.
Yeah.
But I know at least ours, that was the big thing that everybody played.
Nowadays, they're going to be stuck on Instagram Reels and TikTok.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All those created. I know. Dude, doom scrolling is such a problem, bro. I like, sometimes when I'm quote unquote doing my homework, I'm just there for like 30 minutes doom scrolling.
You catch yourself doom scrolling, and and then, but, you know, also the good side of that thing when you're on Instagram Reels a lot, it sounds bad, but you send things to your friends and, you know, they laugh at it, and then it's just like, even though it's such a minor thing, but for some people, like, that one thing that you send them, it's like meaning that you're thinking about that other person, which actually I think helped me a lot when being, like, reassured that I had close friends, is when they would send me a reel and we both laugh at it. It really assured me that, like, okay, like, they actually are my friend. Like, they're thinking about me.
Yeah, they're not just like, oh, it's that kid Mario. They're like,
and then they go up and talk to you, just you know, because you're both in the same place, you know. Yeah,
that's crazy though. Like, thinking about like how we connected back then.
Yeah,
it's like now,
where everything used to be just like physical things, or like where everything used to just be physical, where you had to be person to person and, like, real time.
Yeah.
But now it's, like, all over the internet. And, like, if you even think about it, like, a lot of people's personalities are just on the internet. It's like, that's really just how you get to meet people. Just, like, you see their likes, or you see, like, what they're following, or
how
stuff
many
like
followers
that.
they have.
And it just, like, okay, like, maybe I could be friends with this person, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
or, like, if I'm friends with this person, everyone else would be friends with me.
Yeah.
Like,
it just, like, it could bring you into almost like a community.
Like, that can go both ways, though, because they can either bring you to a close community of close friends, or it's going to bring you to this, like, obsession to where, like, you, like, have to be that center of attention, or you have to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, there's most definitely a healthy boundary that you have to have.
Yeah.
Because it's like that thin line. Like, if you cross that line, it's too much, and that can become bad. But there's also the other part where it's, like, good, and where you feel like you have close people to talk to. But yeah, there's a lot of pros to being online, like, a lot. There's also a lot of cons to being online a lot. I know, at least for me, like, as someone during quarantine that, like, was always on their phone or always online, like, since I couldn't do anything else, it was like, once I got to school, it took me a while to actually be able to form conversations with people, because it was like, man, I'm used to sort of just staring at my phone. I feel like my attention span is just, like, so much lower.
Because I remember when I was at my middle school, I didn't go back to class until maybe, like, halfway through 8th grade year.
Yeah, me too.
And, like, even though some of the kids, like, I knew them since kindergarten. I grew up with them. Yeah. But it was so weird trying to, like, talk to them again. Like, even though they were talking to me fine, but that was because they were in school. They started when everyone started going back in, but I started later. And, like, I wasn't scared, but I was just like,
it feels weird.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that, because around my 6th, 7th grade year, I transferred from my old school and went to a new school. And then maybe a year later, COVID hit, and I didn't go back for a while. Yeah. And then once I finally went back, it was even weirder, because then I didn't have anybody to talk to. I had to remake friends. Yeah. Because there was nobody that I knew for that long. like maybe one person
Mhm.
and then nobody else. But yeah, it just like. But also that was around the time where I did start to see my interests in everything. So then I was able to get closer with them, which shaped me to be able to like actually be able to talk to people and stuff like that when I finally got here to Central. Since this like place is like very like you have to talk to people oriented. Like everybody talks to each other. Even if you're not really good friends, it's just like you'll talk to people eventually. If that's group projects, homework, notes, anything really.
Yeah. And I don't know if this makes sense, but like it's kind of good that we went through COVID in a more like older age, because now that we're about to go to college, like I know you're going to Arizona, right? And I'm going to A&M. Even though it's still in Texas, it's really far, but it's kind of good that we got that experience of having to try to remake friends, kind of like a reset.
Yeah.
Because now we're gonna be more, I guess.
You could be more like proactive to making friends, like going,
like going up
and talking to people.
We're used to making more friends, more like getting to know more people because we're older, so we kind of learned it better than like trying to teach younger kids to do it.
Yeah, because so especially these younger kids that are even more on their phones than we are. It leads them to like, it's hard for them to make conversation. And I know at least like my brother, like he has a hard time like keeping a conversation with like either me or my parents. That's just because like he's so used to like being online and like
or at home.
Yeah, more at home and not having the struggle of like having to remake friends out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Since when I transferred
born into it.
Yeah, because when I transferred from my middle school to my new middle school, he was too young. Like it didn't really matter for him. But then it all kind of fell into place, you know.
Yeah. All right. I think we're just about out of time, but everything. Yeah, it's all crazy, you know. Like.
Yeah, it was a good talk. We're even using online to make this. Like this is we're always online.
Yeah, it's not like a newspaper or something. We're literally recording on our phone right now, so it's pretty crazy thing about it.
I appreciate you for having me on.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Shakes hand.
Shakes hand.
Shakes hand.
Because of the deaf people, we have to be inclusive.
We should shake hand.
Shakes hand for deaf people.
Look, 'cause that means when I press record.
What do you mean you're already on?
I'm gonna shake your hand.
Okay.
And we're gonna say shakes hand.
No, I'm not saying that.
I will say shakes hand.
Okay. That's not going in the final cut.
Take 499.
God.
English podcast.
Oh, next take.